Այն ժամանակ իրենց սպալնյաներ հասկացողություն ննջարաններ չեն եղել։
There were no bedrooms in those times. People just had big halls. This is a small hall, which will end up as a bedroom.
Aram is from Gyumri. He is restoring a house built by his great-grandfather. Located in the city center, Aram will turn this building into a guest house. He has gone for the name Old House, quite aptly put, as the structure was constructed in 1857. This is just one of the construction projects being carried out in Gyumri's downtown at the moment.
Until recently, when Gyumri was considered a disaster zone, we did not even imagine that one day we might want to use our house as a business facility. But times changed and demand grew.
Mqrtich Avetanyan, who moved from Lebanon to Gyumri, recently opened a pub on the first floor of this two-story building. Due to the 2020 Beirut blast, he lost his first pub. After some time, he moved to Armenia, started working in a restaurant in Gyumri, and then decided to go back to his old job. He founded a place with a colleague from Gyumri and opened a pub.
There's risk when it comes to Gyumri, but opening a business in Yerevan is more difficult as you have more competitors. Yerevan is developed and cannot grow much more, but Gyumri is still underdeveloped. It still has to grow. It has to go down the same path as Yerevan, but not to the extreme. It just has to, in the end, develop.
On working days, the customers at this pub are mainly locals and foreign tourists. On weekends, mainly Armenians from Yerevan come here. Armenia's second largest city became a tourist hotspot only about 6 years ago, when the authorities started developing and rebuilding the historical district in the downtown. As a result, many people from Gyumri turned their homes into guest houses. Investors started to show up, and restaurants and entertainment venues started to open. For the chief architect of Gyumri, the old district is a sort of open-air museum.
It's not one of those museums that you go to see and are told not to touch anything or approach anything. It's a vibrant city. People live here who are also a part of the city's face, manners, and way of life.
The chief architect of the city told us that he received many applications to restore historical buildings, where people want to create guest houses and eateries. One of those local entrepreneurs is Artush Yeghiyazaryan, who plans to help develop tourism in the Shirak region. He aims to open a hotel in the village of Vartaghpyur, about 20 kilometers away from Gyumri, to develop agro-tourism. After living in Switzerland for about 18 years, he returned and bought up property in Gyumri. Later, he opened a cafe.
I already knew that Gyumri's development was inevitable. I could see that Yerevan was already stagnating. There were few lots, it was polluted, traffic jams, buildings were rising one after the other. On the other hand, Gyumri is calm, with wonderful architecture. It had a lot of potential. I started investing here in 2015. People thought I was crazy, saying that as people migrate away, you are investing. I replied, "You'll see what happens."
The increase in demand and investment has led to a construction boom in the city that continues to this day. Investors now hope that this positive dynamic will continue, as demand is not fully satisfied, and increased competition will lead to better quality services. This year, the services sector is expected to grow significantly, as Russia's invasion of Ukraine has resulted in tens of thousands of Russians, Belarusians, and Ukrainians coming to Gyumri, not only as tourists, but with the intention to stay.